Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, changes to Hull's council ward boundaries, the future of the Humberston Fitties and sustainable food in Hull. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to Martin Campbell and Nick Booth about recruiting new members for the Grimsby Morris Men. And before that, James Gilbert waxes lyrical about the Lincolnshire Wolds. Humberside police are looking for two women connected to an assault in Hull last night. The attack was at 2:30 a.m. on Great Thornton Street. The victim was walking home when she was assaulted by two women carrying weapons. She was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The women wanted in connection to the assault are both described as being in their 20s, of large builds and with local accents. One woman was wearing a blue Adidas jacket, the other a black Parker jacket. Anyone with information is asked to ring Humberside Police on 101. North East Lincolnshire Council will hold an urgent meeting tonight to determine the future of the Humberston Fitties. Councillors will vote on whether or not the sale of the Fitties should be stopped after the prospective buyers, Tingdean, failed to give the council assurances that the site will be protected. Tingdean was revealed as the buyer of the Humberston Fitties back in March. All 42 councillors will attend tonight's meeting. Plans for changes to Hull's council ward boundaries and a reduction in the number of councillors have been revealed today. The city will have two fewer councillors, reduced to 57, meaning there'll be 15 wards represented in the Guildhall. Changes include a new central ward to take in Springbank and Sculcoats and putting Hessel Road and Thornton Estate into a new St Andrews and Docklands ward. The new wards will apply at the next council elections next May. The leader of Hull City Council says he remains confident of bringing a cruise terminal to Hull. Plans were revealed last month for cruise ships to berth beside the Deep and next to Queen Victoria Dock. Councillor Stephen Brady says the council's track record suggests the development will happen.
Well, every time that the people have knocked this city, when they've said Siemens won't come here, why would people invest in Hull? I've had all the critics, and we've defied them, and I've been confident all along. I was confident that we would land the City of Culture. I was confident that we would land Siemens. If you've got confidence, if you believe in the ability of the people of this city, which I do, anything can happen.
Now, I'm joined by James Gilbert of East Lindsey District Council to talk about a new campaign to promote the beautiful Lincolnshire Wolds. James, welcome. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Good
to see you here. Lincolnshire Wolds, you and I are both going to say, possibly one of the most beautiful parts of the country.
An undiscovered gem, I think. We're working really hard to raise the profile of the Lincolnshire Wolds and have been now for a year or so. We launched a destination plan last year which focused on raising the profile of things like cycling, walking, and also the history and heritage of the Lincolnshire Wolds and the wonderful market towns. And we've recently launched 3 videos to support that effort.
Well, we'll have a look at one of those videos in a moment, but I think you got the word there when you described it as an undiscovered gem. Why has it been undiscovered by people who don't use it regularly, don't use the area regularly? Why don't they know about it?
We think it hasn't had the profile and the opportunity of promotion that we're going to give it now. So we're working really closely with West Lindsey District Council and other partners to ensure the Wolds receives the investment in terms of promotion, publicity and visitor product development that it absolutely needs. And that is our clear focus.
You mentioned one or two of the qualities that I suppose it's a range, isn't it? A range of hills, the Lincolnshire Wolds. Can we refer to it as the range?
By all means.
Okay, thank you very much. I need a geographer. But you mentioned some of its qualities. Let's have a little thought about some of those things. First of all, it is just physically beautiful.
It is. I mean, it's got beautiful landscapes. We get so much positive feedback from people who just enjoy a wonderful day out in the Lincolnshire Wolds, a picnic, and just enjoy the wonderful scenery that's there. There's so many hidden gems, such as churches, that are in the Wolds that people love to explore. And it's a great place for cycling. Only last year it held the Tour of the Wolds. So we had teams like Team Wiggins, Team Story, all in the Wolds with their team cycling, enjoying the beautiful landscapes.
We have different ideas about a great place for cycling. I would say Amsterdam is a great place for cycling. There is a bit of up and down, isn't there? They're quite substantial hills.
They are substantial hills, and that was some of the feedback that we actually got from some of the professional cyclists that came. They said it was a challenge, and I think part of what we're trying to do as well is bust the myth. The Wolds are not flat. Lincolnshire is not flat.
That's
we're a beautiful
untrue
place
stereotype.
with beautiful landscapes.
Let's have a look at one of those films now. Beautiful. East Lindsey and West Lindsey District Council produced that by the logos at the end. I didn't know they were such wonderful filmmakers.
Well, we've been working with a Lincoln-based film company called Electric Egg for the past few months to produce the film. So that was one of 3 films. One focuses on heritage and culture, and the other is a more general film encompassing various other elements as well. So for us, it was really about saying, okay, the visitor economy in the Wolds, for example, is worth about £153 million per year at the moment, or a couple of years ago. We want to continue to see it increase year on year, and we continue to measure that impact as more and more people discover the area.
Who's going to see these films?
Okay, so they've already been through various social media channels, 31,000 views over the weekend. Visit England are using them as part of their marketing collateral. Visit Britain are as well, and we're going to be embedding them into some of the digital marketing campaigns that we're running over the coming months.
That film, Made Me Hungry, is particularly concentrating on sort of local produce, wasn't it? Or perhaps it was just because I'm hungry that I noticed that it was producing local produce. But the Wolds, they're a fantastically fruitful place.
Absolutely, there are some wonderful products produced within the Lincolnshire Wolds, and we really are trying to celebrate the great local food. I mean, it's British Food Fortnight at the moment, so it's another opportunity to really showcase some of that great locally baked, locally grown produce and products from our area. We're incredibly lucky where we live.
The people who live there, people in places, lucky people like you in Horncastle, and I used to live in Louth, the people who live there already know how wonderful it is and how beautiful it is. Are they going to welcome hordes of tourists coming in as the numbers go up?
Well, I think we're a long way from getting to the position where we're overrunning the Lincolnshire Wolds with tourists. I certainly have an aspiration to increase tourism quite significantly in the Lincolnshire Wolds over the next few years. With that, we do need to ensure there's the appropriate infrastructure to support it in place. So we're keeping that in mind alongside with our plans to increase the profile and promotion.
People think of tourism in Lincolnshire. I suppose they think of Skegness and Mablethorpe. They think of the coast.
I think that's one of the challenges for us. I mean, the visitor economy on the coast is worth millions and millions of pounds per year. In total, the visitor economy to East Lindsey is worth over £600 million. A proportion of that's the Wolds, a far more significant proportion of that's the coast. In regard to the coast, we're now trying to extend the season on the coast to bring more people in the shoulder months of the year as opposed to during the main summer months.
The shoulder months?
So we have a period on the coast each year whereby during the summer it's incredibly busy, but we have a period at the end of the year in between when there's lower employment, there's less people coming. What can we do to really give the resorts a boost at the beginning and end of the season to make sure that employment's sustained, more people want to come, and actually more people can discover the natural coast, some of the wild coast, the bird watching, the walking in the sand dunes, the seals at Don and Nook, some of those wonderful experiences that are not necessarily associated with a traditional holiday that you would experience in Skegness, Mablethorpe or Sutton-on-Sea. So there's lots more the coast has to offer, and we're trying to showcase that, as well as showcasing what the Wolds has to offer.
Now, the fact is that there's lots of people in the UK as a whole who, one hopes, will discover how beautiful and how wonderful the Wolds are as a result of this programme, but there's also an international market there, isn't there?
There is. We've been working really closely with the Dutch visitor market recently. So
they love a hill.
They absolutely do, and we've recently hosted Dutch journalists who have been looking at coming to this area on a more regular basis and promoting what this area has to offer. So we've been working with the Coastal Tourism Academy based in Bournemouth on a project called the Coastal Pass, which is all about creating itineraries for Dutch people to come over via Hull, all the way down and go back again from Harwich. So we've created packages for them to explore throughout the district and in other places of the country, so they can come to this area and have a great time.
If people want to have a look at these films, you mentioned that they have enormously high viewer figures online. Where do people go to have a look?
Well, as part of our tourism marketing activity, we have the Wolds website, which is lovelincolnshireWolds.com. We have the Twitter feed at lovelinkswolds, and the Facebook page as well. So there's plenty of places to find them, and hopefully they'll be seen by many, many millions of people over the coming months and years.
There's that film that was sort of local produce and culture, and there are two other films.
Yeah, one's focused on the active outdoors, so that's all around cycling, walking, etc. The one you saw was kind of a combination of the other two, and the other one's focused very clearly on heritage, so things like tennis and others.
James, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Dan will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports news in the second half, and Martin Campbell and Nick Booth join me to talk about bringing new faces into the Grimsby Morris Men. Welcome back. You're still watching Estuary News, and still to come tonight, Dan brings up a latest roundup of the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to I won't. I'll be talking to Martin and Nick about the Grimsby Morris Men. A Scunthorpe taxi driver has been prosecuted for refusing to take a passenger who had an assistance dog, a guide dog. Rojgar Obaid Mahmoud attended Grimsby Magistrates Court and pleaded not guilty. He was then found guilty after the magistrates heard evidence from North Lincolnshire Council's licensing office. Mr Mahmoud was fined £500 and has been ordered to pay a £50 victim surcharge. 80 delegates have been in Hull today to discuss how the city can become a sustainable food city. In a bid to transform food culture in the city, local voluntary group Food for Hull, that's 4 as a numeral, will be working for winning a bronze award to contribute toward Hull's long-term economic growth and development. Barony McFadden is the Hull Sustainable Food City Partnerships coordinator.
One of the key things that came out of our discussion today was that we'd like a lot more local production, that there's not enough locally produced food in the area. Locally produced food is better for people's health, especially when it's produced using sustainable methods. It decreases food miles. It also changes the food culture of the city, so a lot of people would learn and understand where food comes from. So that's one of the key outcomes that we'd like to see. And we've heard from Middlesbrough, which is a very similar city to Hull in terms of its demographics and in terms of its population size. They've been doing a lot of work to increase local food procurement. If we manage to improve the food for the city, it will massively increase the health of the population, which is why public health are massively supportive of the project. The local authority have put the Sustainable Food Cities work in the new city plan, which shows a massive commitment from the local authority. So it's things like children understanding food, where food comes from, maybe questioning a little bit more about what they're eating as well, and hopefully through education of children, through more education in general to the general population, it will mean that we'll be a healthier, more informed city.
An open meeting has been arranged for the 20,000 stakeholders in the British Steel Pension Scheme to discuss the future of their investments. The meeting will be held on November the 1st at the Redbourne Social Club in Scunthorpe. The BSPS has assets totalling £15 billion. However, it faces a shortfall in funds because its members are living longer. Anyone wanting to know more about the meeting can ring 07504 055 624 or email Mazza, that's MAZZA 4438 @gmail.com. Now, the Grimsby Morris Men are on a recruitment campaign. Martin Campbell and Nick Booth are here to tell me more. Gentlemen, you could have made the effort.
Well, just threw a few things on, you know.
You both look absolutely magnificent. Martin, your recruitment drive, are you not up to numbers?
We have sufficient numbers at the moment, but what we'd really like is for more people to come along and support us and join, if possible. We're going to be having a couple of open evenings fairly soon, Monday the 9th of October and the 16th of October, where we shall have open house at our practice hall at the Park Congregational Hall in Durban Road. And we'd like members of the public to come along and learn more about the Morris side. And in the process, we hope that some people who come along may think in terms of getting involved, especially people, men who want to sort of find another spare time activity. And on that note, spare time activity, we have an all year round programme. As you can see, I'm in what we call our summer kit, our Cotswold kit, and Nick here is in our border kit, and we're just on the cusp now of changing from this kit to that kit, so we have an all year round programme.
Well, Nick, I'll ask you about the kit in a moment, but we were talking about the summer when you were all dressed as Martin.
Yes.
Did you have a good season this summer?
We've had a cracking season, haven't we? Yeah. This year is our 50th anniversary, so we've done all the sort of normal dance outs and some extra stuff as well.
As you're speaking, your bells are jingling away.
Yeah, they do that.
Down there. And is it as popular as ever? I mean, I associate Morris dancing with village greens and a lovely summer's day and a pint of lovely ale to wash down whatever I'm eating, and it's terribly charming and attractive, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it's great fun. We have a wonderful time doing it. I think it is still popular. I think we have a bit of a problem in Grimsby that we're not one of the really big centres of Morris, but say Grimsby Morris Men have been around in their modern form since 1967, and we're a good and successful side, and we want to keep that going. So,
Martin, you were saying
some youngsters, please.
Well, you youngsters, I was going to ask, but first of all, is it very definitely Morris Men? Is there never any women involved?
Well, we have partners, of course, who get involved in sort of our peripheral activities,
but the dance
and that
itself,
sort of thing, but not to dance, because we have a male-only policy in our side, and we have all the time of our existence. It's been like that, so nothing's changed. We'd like to continue that way. As it happens, we are allowing sort of females to sort of play for us if anybody wants to come along and play for us, so any female musicians. We are quite well supplied with musicians at the moment. We have two men who are very experienced and absolutely experts at it. Yeah. So we're well served in that respect.
And in terms of young people joining, Nick said you'd look like a few youngsters.
We certainly would.
Yes.
Both of you have seemed very youthful to me, but you presumably you just need to keep the generations going on.
That's right. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
right.
It is. We'd like some more people to come along and either of our age group to join the side as we are now, or to come along and produce those new members and new dancers that will continue the tradition that's set up by our original founders back in 1967.
Nick, this fantastic costume you're wearing, that's the winter costume, is it? Keeps you warm, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, though.
Yes, it's called a rag coat, and basically it's just a white coat covered in lots and lots and lots of rags. Traditionally, a dancer is supposed to prepare his own rag coat, but I think it's probably an open secret that I didn't create this. So, wives tend to do a lot of the work on kit. particularly the rag coats. Shh, don't tell the Morris Men.
Okay, right. So you put some personal investment in it.
Oh yes, yes.
Should we just talk about this CD, this music?
Oh, fine, yes,
Martin?
yes. We created this year.
Yep.
We were fortunate to have attract some funds from the Heritage Lottery Fund.
Oh, right.
And that's part of our anniversary year programme.
Where can people get it?
If you get in touch with us through the website, Nick has quite a stock of them still. We have sold quite a few so far.
Just look up Morris Men and you'll get the contact.
Yeah, Grimsby Morris Men.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, and I hope you have an equally successful winter season. Thanks so much for coming in. Here's Dan with all the sports.
It's Lincolnshire Derby Day. Scunthorpe United host Grimsby Town in the Checkatrade Trophy tonight. A win for the Iron will see them progress to the knockout stages. Both sides are expected to make a number of changes, with Harry Clifton and Carly Osborne amongst the players to be given a chance by Russell Slade. Former Hull City striker Les Mutry has died today. He played over 100 games for the Tigers over 4 seasons and still holds the club record of scoring in 9 consecutive games. He was 66. Meanwhile, current head coach Leonid Slutsky has been named as the EFL's Coach of the Week for their 6-1 win over Birmingham City at the weekend. Winger Kamil Grzycki has been named in the Team of the Week after scoring 1 goal and 1 assist in that game. And a reminder that this Saturday is non-league day. North Ferriby United host FC United of Manchester, one of a number of fixtures in our area. Rugby now, and departing Hull FC winger Mahe Fanua says he'll keep the memories of his time in the city with him forever. He scored tries in each of the club's last 2 Challenge Cup final wins and now returns to Australia to link up with West Tigers for next year. Fanua was also named in the Super League Dream Team in both 2016 and 2017. And finally, Rugby Union. Hull Ionians lost by 46 points to 13 at Blackheath at the weekend, while Hull RUFC lost by 28 points to 19 at Lymm. Scunthorpe fared better. They won by 18 points to 13 at Bridge North. Hullendians were able to ease to victory on Saturday against North Ribblesdale by 41 points to 8. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks, Dan. That's it for today. As always, if you have a news story you think we should be covering, do please get in touch in the usual ways, some of which are revealed beneath me. Estuary TV on Facebook, news@estuary.tv, Twitter us at Estuary TV, give us a call on 01472315553, or you can write to us the old-fashioned way at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN345BQ. Good evening.